Poltergeists are usually associated with an individual. Hauntings seem to be connected with an area. A house, usually.
Poltergeist disturbances are fairly short duration, perhaps a couple of months. Hauntings can go on for years.
Broadcasting live from the dark and cold dungeons deep beneath the KLAV studios in Las Vegas, Nevada. Prepare yourselves to be taken away into another dimension as we now have control over your thoughts, fears, and perspective of the unexplained world you dare not speak of. With your hosts, Lindsay Knight and Michael Knight. Ladies and gentlemen, we now open the gates to the paranormal and beyond.
Broadcasting live from the KLAV studios in Las Vegas, Nevada, this is the Paranormal and Beyond. When it comes to mediumship or channeling, it is the practice of gifted people who are known as mediums that acquire and possess the unique ability to mediate communication between spirits of the dead while helping those in the living make contact with deceased loved ones. In a moment, our special guest, known around the world for remarkable psychic abilities and has suffered a total of 7 near-death experiences. She is also known to many with names such as the most dead woman alive, Agent to the Other Side, Nostradamus on Heels, the LA Woman to Jim Morrison, Miss UFO, the Psychic Bunny, but most of all, the Psychic Medium to the stars. June DeYoung will be joining us on the program, and it's all coming up when we return right here on the Talk of Las Vegas, KLAV 1230 AM.
Your ticket to the unknown is at KnightsParanormalResearchSociety.com. UFOs, ghosts, aliens, hauntings, mysterious places and more can be found at KnightsParanormalResearchSociety.com. Knights with a K, ParanormalResearchSociety.com. Based out of Las Vegas, Nevada, Knights Paranormal Research Society is owned and operated by the renowned brother and sister team of Michael and Lindsay Knight. Seeing is believing. And at KnightsParanormalResearchSociety.com, you're going to believe. Join us every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 11 p.m. to midnight for the Paranormal and Beyond. Join host Michael Knight and Lindsay Knight as they investigate the unexplained and most controversial mysteries of the world. The Paranormal and Beyond, where the paranormal lives on and conspiracies exposed. The Paranormal and Beyond, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 11 p.m. to midnight. Brought to you by KnightsParanormalResearchSociety.com.
Just because you've seen it in the news doesn't mean it's real.
So you're telling me you got physically attacked by a ghost?
Like, I can tell you right now, I believe in the paranormal more than I believe in our government.
There are so many mysteries out there that are still yet to be explained.
You folks have some of your facts wrong, and you just keep talking about generalities.
With all due respect, sir, you have not brought anything to the table to prove us wrong.
This is the Paranormal and Beyond, and it's your show. Call us at 731-1230. Here again, Michael Knight and Lindsay Knight.
Welcome back to another brand new edition of the Paranormal and Beyond. But first, be sure to check us out at KnightsParanormalResearchSociety.com, where you can link up to all the past shows by simply clicking on that archive link above. That's KnightsParanormalResearchSociety.com. Ever want to get into the movies? Well, you can by acting right now by logging on to HollywoodBoundActingAcademy.com. Again, that's HollywoodBoundActingAcademy.com. Special shout out to all those listening online through the KLAV 1230am.com website. and all those driving around in the Vegas Valley listening to us on your stereos. I'm your host, Michael Knight. Alongside of me is your host, Lindsay Knight, paranormal princess of the airwaves. And joining us is Jessica Johns of Wartime Paranormal. We're here to spread the truth the only way, by singing you a paranormal lullaby of the good stuff, like we always do. How you doing, Lindsay?
I'm good. How are you, Michael?
I'm good. That I'm still trying to catch my breath here. Try
Jessica,
doing that.
how are you
Jessica,
doing?
How you doing?
Oh, I'm doing super. How's it going with y'all today?
It's going good. I'm like losing my breath. No, I'm just joking. All right, we got a great show for you ahead. We have world-renowned psychic and medium June DeYoung, who's standing by and will be joining us. But first, let's get into today's news.
Topping the news for the paranormal and beyond this Monday, November 11th, bringing you up-to-the-minute news on all the strange and bizarre happenings around the globe. The search is on for more human remains after a dog dragged a human leg home to her owner on Tuesday. The gruesome discovery was made on the Nisqually Reservation, and on Sunday, investigators found even more body parts after one day of searching. 93-year-old Bill Flowers found the leg after his dog Liberty dragged it home and was standing over it. Mr. Flowers examined it, picked it up, and looked at the toes, and nothing. None of the leg or foot was damaged. From the knee down, it wasn't damaged at all. Flowers said the leg was gray in color and was dismembered about 4 inches from the buttocks. He buried the leg in his backyard and didn't call police until 4 days later at the urging of his daughter. When I got home, he said, his dad was, she said, her dad was told to call the police by her. She was frantic. Bill Flowers says he didn't report the incident immediately because he was scared he might be accused of murdering the person. He said, I was afraid to call. I'm 93 years old. I didn't want to have to go to the pen for something I didn't do. Detectives put a GPS collar on Liberty, hoping she would lead them to the rest of the body. But it was the search and rescue dogs who found more remains, a pelvis and a rib cage in the woods at the Nisqually tribe's old fish hatchery. Thurston County Coroner Greg Warnock said a pathologist will look at the remains to determine if it is a man or a woman and what instrument or tools were used to dismember the body. Reporting the news for the paranormal and beyond, this is Lindsay Knight.
Talk about sending your dog out to go fetch, right? And then they go, and not only that, what, did this bone come from an Indian reservation?
Yes, the Nisqually Reservation.
Yeah, talk about bringing home all the ghosts to your house. That's like a big no-no.
Well, the 93-year-old, just the fact that he buried that bone, was afraid to... I would feel the same way, too. Like, if I have human remains, that they would accuse me of maybe possibly
I want to know where
murdering.
you're finding this stuff. Like, what when you're looking for this news, what do you put in Google?
We can't make this up. This happens.
I know.
Fact.
Like, do you just put in, like, weird news today in Google or something?
No,
or, like,
it's just... you have to imagine what goes on outside.
It reminds me of like the
when
movie.
you step out
It reminds
the door.
me of the movie of like The Burbs, where the dog comes back with
exactly what I
the
was
femur
thinking.
bone, and it's like, wow, But this is really going on, when you look at the bizarre stuff in our world, and not that, doom and
People are
gloom
crazy.
stuff you see on TV.
Right.
It is, but I mean, look what we do. A lot of people think we're crazy, but you know what? We're
Yeah, but
thinking
we've never
outside.
killed anybody or had our dog bring home a leg.
Yeah, if that happened, then it'd be a different story. All right, let's get into our main topic. Our special guest, June DeYoung, has touched angels through her 7 near-death experiences and have been providing her psychic services to Hollywood and corporate leaders for over 30 years. Throughout her life, June has specialized in hospice and grief counseling regarding the loss of loved ones, including children and pets. Bringing comfort and peace to someone is just one of June's special gifts from God. Internationally, whether it's on the phone or in person, June DeYoung has a long list of celebrity high-profile clientele. With over 33 years in the entertainment industry, she has also consulted hundreds of companies and individuals on their future trends, including investments and product marketing for business success. June's work has been profiled on CBS News, CNN, BBC, Newsweek International, New York Magazine, and People Magazine, with TV appearances such as Regis and KATHIE Live, The Ellen Show, Entertainment Tonight, Good Morning America, VH1, Rock of Ages, E! Entertainment's The Road to the Red Carpet Oscars, E! News, Talk Soup, and Channel 4 in London. Also, she has been a regular on the Craig and Robbie Hour with interior designer for Adam Levine, Craig Olson, and Robbie Laughlin, who hosts Who Wore It Better on E! And the Juliana and Bill Rancic Show on Style. When it comes to print, Newsweek and International New York Magazine and People Magazine profiled her as an icon and newsmaker. On radio, most recently, June DeYoung received high accolades when George Norrie interviewed her about her life story on Coast to Coast AM. As a home makeover interior designer, June meets with her clients in person through Skype, touring their homes and easily on the phone with pictures. She creates a template and does charting for hours on end, assuring that the client feels that their home is a place of peace and comfort. Many who have lost loved ones in life seek June to declutter, organize, and create a special place to honor those that they have lost and loved. This has inspired DeYoung to develop a product line to uplift individuals internationally. Presently, DeYoung is in completion of her life story and a home makeover book, which is due for release in 2014. The Paranormal and Beyond would like to welcome to the program June DeYoung. How you doing, June?
Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Are you awake?
Yeah. Are you awake?
We're here.
If you're not, I'll laugh really high pitched at least.
Oh yeah, I was telling her that when I was talking to you before the show. Is when you laugh, it's like we could do a whole show in that. You know.
When I was a kid, I wanted to be a professional laugher because I thought it was a real easy job if I studied how to laugh differently. So I would, since I was a classical pianist, believe it or not, for a number of years. I started out in the classical piano, and I would tune my laugh on the piano. Is that funny? So now it's sort of come in handy. Never know when you're going to use something, right?
Yeah. What is that? A C sharp?
Yeah, it was. I used to hit the C, so you're pretty good there. Yeah.
So I was reading your bio, and this all started at the age of 6, where you started seeing ghosts and spirits.
Yeah, what happened was, I saw them as light bulbs when I was a kid, and I would be in a room by myself, and my mother would come in and go, "Who are you talking to?" And I would be like in the little mini bed that they put you in, or the crib or whatever, and the little balls are moving above, and it's like having a mobile, but it's not that. It's, the other side. The little balls were like orbs. What we see as orbs, but orbs are people too, okay? So orbs become people. There's a sound that goes, and then they become a person on the other side. And so anyway, the little light balls were above my bed, and I would always see these people that I had no idea who they were. And actually one of them was, people say to me, I'm going to give you the 2 people around me. When I do a session, I'm going to give you the 2 people around me that I most loved. And I said, yeah, but that's not necessary. I have this guy since I was born. He died a year before I was born, and he's been with me my whole life. And that's my grandmother's brother's son who died in a car crash a year before I was born. He's been with me, Bobby, for my whole life. And my Uncle Bob, who was the first one I could recognize as a full person at age 6.
It wasn't a scary feeling to have this. Like, I've talked to a lot of people, and they're pretty freaked out at first where they're seeing these people, but I guess some of them, they see the horrific kind of, malevolent spirits coming to them. But it was more of like family members, people who needed help.
People who needed help, yeah, and it changed over all the near deaths. But the interesting thing is, and every near death was different. That's the other thing. People think when you die, it's all the same. But it's always different, and who's there to greet you is always different.
Well, you had 7. I can only compare mine to 1. Hopefully that'll be the last one. So, you're one of those fortunate people out there who could, you're cracking everybody up in the studio because you're laughing.
I know. I love it.
Cats follow me like a Pied Piper.
I'm not trying to laugh, but oh my God, it's so cute.
So, June, people think we're like killing cats
birthday.
Here. Oh,
you gotta see, June. You have to see my engineer right now.
We were doing this, and I didn't even think about Veterans Day. God bless all the veterans out there. I was thinking of Bear's birthday. I'm gonna, you said what day to pick, and I was like, it's Bear's birthday. We're gonna do it on Bear's birthday.
Oh yeah, and it was weird that it was like 11:11, and you were gonna be on at 11 p.m.
Yeah, and then with the Vietnam vets, because I do hospice, and I do work with Danny and Brinkley, who who actually has compassion in action, and he goes and sits with the vets, and and I'm called to sit in hospitals and hold people's hands, and when they pass, in my sleep, I find myself in their room, which is pretty wild. I mean, like an automatic remote viewing. I guess because I have compassion for them, I show up as like an anchor, what a medium has as an anchor, and that's something that a lot of people don't talk about because they haven't studied like true mediumship. And true mediumship is very different. Mediumship from London and Brazil, and, that's intense mediumship. That's way different. It's even more intense than seance, okay? In so many ways. These are the days of, like, years back where they threw you in a black box, believe it or not.
The Iron Maiden.
I tell you, you can box me for later, I used to say.
June, I have to ask, your psychic abilities, does this run in the family, or are you the first of your generation?
Well, it does run in the family, and the interesting thing is, my dad, it was really fun. When we would have dinner, my father would say, all day I've been thinking about, your godfather in Canada. And I went, really? So he says, yeah, and then he would call, right? We would be having dinner, and the phone rang, and I said, guess who that is? And he would, like, look at me, and he goes, I think it's him. And then he'd pick up the phone, and it was. So that was pretty cool. Even though he was an atheist, I was born to an atheist scientist, which a lot of people know since I've been talking about it for a while. And I even have, like, confronted him on a lot of stuff after Hurricane Sandy, because he was in Hurricane Sandy, he didn't listen to me. So he was like, kid, I hate to say it, but you were right. I said, you can't just say I'm right. You can't just let a woman be right. Come on already.
Well, society demands that in this day and age. You do not want to say a woman is wrong. Trust me.
No, especially a psychic woman. You just don't want to do that. So he was like, kid, can you do my finances? Anyway, so when I was young, he gave me stock charts because he was good at, like, picking stocks, right? Mm-hmm. And we would go to the horse track together because he thought he could do it with, like, a computer, and I would do it from hearing whoever was around, that played the ponies, Some random dead guy, you know what I mean, in the audience, okay? Like, some random dead guy would come over and, and say, take your shoes off. And I'd be like, okay, so some guy has a foot fetish, but it really wasn't that.
That's messed up.
The horse in the seventh race was running barefoot, and so anyway, Dad goes, "Who do you think's going to win?" And I go, "It's this one, horse number one, running barefoot."
Yeah, with the toe sticking out.
Yeah, it was like they were handing me hints. They wouldn't just say the horse; they couldn't say the horse. They don't play that game. That's why, like, a lot of people say, I get a reading, and it's sort of like a side bender. I thought you meant this, and it meant that. And I said, because they make you work for it. It's such a Jersey kind of way of working, you know what I mean? So anyway, it is. It's the way they work it. And because if you were handed everything, then what kind of choices would you make? How would your life be so exciting? My life is like human Disneyland. I tell you, you never know what's going to happen when I go out. Or when I stay in. So anyway. But it is, it's a really funny thing. And getting back to the family thing, my mother had what they call hysterical blindness when my Uncle Bob had died. But she kept seeing a man in a coffin, but she couldn't see his face. You ever have that kind of dream where you can't see all of it, but you can see part of it?
Yeah.
And it's so frustrating, right? So she saw it, and then she was crying hysterically the first time, and she told all of us because she felt that if she told us, that it would stop it. And that's not always true. You know how you think, I'm going to tell somebody my dream, and then it won't happen. But no, it normally will happen. That's not going to stop it.
June,
she had it 2 more times, but she went totally blind on the third one. And then the phone rang, and she got her sight back when we found out my Uncle Bob had passed on. And he was right next to her. I said, "Oh, Uncle Bob's in the room. What do you mean?" Like, to me, it was normal, right? You know?
Yeah.
To me, it was normal to see them and talk to them. It was just, Junie, shut up. You know what I mean? Don't tell anybody. It was like that, And they would say that, shut up. Don't tell anybody. Don't talk like that. That was the line. Don't talk like that. And I would say, yeah, but he says da-da-da-da-da, so you got to be careful. There's a deer in the road. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or I'd be like going to school and trying to stop things from happening in school because I had the ability to see an event a day before it occurred, which when someone says, we don't want you to have this, like my mother got scared because of Uncle Bob dying, right?
Mm-hmm.
That, then I'm seeing him, and I'm seeing him in a brown suit, and I'm saying, bury him in the brown suit, because my Aunt Carol called up, and it's the blue suit or the brown suit. Bury him in the brown suit. Junie says he's in the brown suit, you see? So Uncle Bob was standing there in this brown suit, all dressed up. Well, all of them on the other side dress up for me. I'll just tell you. Most of the comedians' moms dress down for me. They'll go throw a robe on like a chenille robe. And the comedians go, "Oh, my God, my mom likes you." And I go, "Why?" Because that chenille robe was the thing that she would put on for all my friends. So she didn't dress up for them because they were like part of the family. So you're part of the family. I was like, wow, that's intense,
Oh, yeah.
So the other side still is changing their clothes. They have wardrobe over there. Now, it's the one thing you have. I'm not sure if you got coffee, though. That's the problem. I don't think we can take Starbucks or have a sponsor.
Oh, man, that's not cool.
I don't know what Michael Lindsay would do without coffee.
Yeah, there'll be no Paranormal and Beyond show on the other side, I'll tell you that. We'll be completely dead.
I tell you, it's crazy, but you don't sleep when you're dead either. And, being from Jersey, Bon Jovi, to say, you sleep when you're dead. Oh, please, come on.
If then.
You don't sleep when you're dead. You actually work harder. So sleep while you can now and buy the best bed that you can.
Yeah, I try telling myself that, but I can't. All right, let's get into your... They coined you the most dead woman
alive.
Everybody
out there taking sleeping
it's weird. We're talking about like death, and it's like we're laughing here. People are like, we can't take them seriously.
No, they crack me up half the time. They'll say something to me half the time, and they're very funny the way they say it.
I know. It's and like I already warned them. I said, when you laugh, it's over. The show's just gonna go from like we're gonna just lose it, But here's the thing. Okay. You got coin. See, and I'm gonna try to move into a morbid thing, but I can't. Okay, I'm not trying to laugh at this, but you got coined the term the most dead woman alive.
Yeah.
I've talked to a lot of near-deathers, and me being one, only once. Okay, I wasn't privy to die so many times as you. But can we get into like the situation? I mean, 7 times, and I heard you got struck by lightning.
Oh, yeah, but I didn't die via lightning. I always tell
but
everybody.
But you still got struck by lightning.
Oh, yeah, everybody knows what I'm going to say. That's a bonus round. That's a lightning round in game shows?
Yeah.
That's what it is. And I tell you, when it hit me, man, and I couldn't speak for 8 months. Man, that's worse than death. I don't know if that counts, but it was really bad. It was really bad. And every time I held a sign up, right, like where's the cheese, what aisle? You know what I mean? In the food store, the guy would scream at me. He'd go, "The cheese is on aisle 11."
Well,
you know what I mean? And I think, I'm not deaf. I just can't speak. Okay?
Well, it looks like you won't be.
I bet you cringe every time a thunderstorm rolls around.
I know.
No, is it gonna happen?
Oh my God! I actually have severe pain. Like I know when it's coming, and then I'll throw on like the newscasters. I know, because I worked with the news, so I throw on the newscasters, and I'll be like watching Fritz Coleman going, there's lightning and there's dry lightning. Now that's something new for me, dry lightning. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whoa. That's, I think, scarier, because that's just like you could be walking down the street and it just comes up from under the ground and poof, you know what I mean? It's like spontaneous combustion, and I don't want to go that way. Unless I have good shoes on, like Christian Louboutin.
Shoes on. Oh.
You have those on and your legs are left, and you know what I mean? At least they'll look good.
And you'd have a whole total different hairdo going on there.
Well, I have to, because I'm so curious. How the heck did you get struck by lightning? I mean, like, were you just walking down the street?
No, I was in Mar Vista, California. You would think I would have gotten hit in Jersey. You know, my mother got hit twice, and my dad's house got hit. And what's the wildest thing is, you know, I mean, they say that kids have it in the blood, and, you know, from the parents. So when the parents make a baby, even though I really think I'm just a chip head, like they bought me somewhere, you know what I mean? I never felt like it was part of the family. I was like...
It's okay. My parents tell me they found me at a bus stop.
I'm sorry, that's
they
really
do?
Good. Funny. Well, I even confronted my dad during Hurricane Sandy, and I was like, come on, tell me the truth. I am so not from you or my mother. I'm so sorry. But you need to tell me, because I think maybe the government threw that, you know, microchip in early. Weren't they doing testing in the 60s? Hold on.
Oh, yeah. And I think that had to do with LSD. I don't know.
Yeah. Because I'm like, it's a little too strange. You know what I mean? It's a little too strange. But, yeah, it's a really, really crazy thing to... And dying's expensive. You don't want to try it. Don't try this at home, kids. So anyway. Danny Brinkley, I remember he was doing this is so funny. He got me into doing the funny death thing because he's like contagious, right? So he's walking on the stage and I'm watching him and I could see all the dead people standing behind him that want to talk, like through him, you know? Uh-huh. And he's like walking and he's walking and he's got this bucket of water and he's got this electrical cord. So he says, everybody's wanting to die. Everybody wants to. And then he said, here's a shortcut. You know, you put your hands in the water, then you grab the electrical cord. And I just cracked up so much. I thought, that's funny. You know what I mean? That's funny. But you can't guarantee you're coming back. So, you know, and most of the time, like, you know, people want to take their lives, right? To get on a crazy serious note after all this laughing, but a lot of people call me up and they're like, I don't want to live. I don't want to live, especially during holiday time, right?
Yeah.
Do you know when you die, and throughout my entire career of doing this, my entire career, and even when I was like 15, 17 years old in Jersey, I had people wanting to kill themselves and all these kinds of things, trying to commit suicide and all of this. And whenever someone commits suicide, they've come to me and said, can I work with you? I have to do my time. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And they're like, well, I'm assigned to 20 people, or I'm assigned to 28 people, or I'm assigned to... And these are not people that they knew or loved. Like, when you go and take your life, you don't... Like, I can't go, hey, Michael, I really love you. I'm going to go to you. No. There's like a Santa list that you're given, and you're assigned to different people. And you have to go through all of those issues and all of those things. And it's intense.
Do you have... Okay, since...
So I don't suggest it. Let me put it that way.
Oh, no. I'm very happy.
I don't recommend, all right?
I don't see myself killing myself anytime soon. Only if I had the lives of June DeYoung, maybe I would, because I'd come back. Huh?
And I tell you, the one time I really thought, you know, I'll go to the other side, I really had the moment where I was like, okay, I'll go with them. Right? And... Mm-hmm. That was when I was working on a woman's house, and I was doing a home makeover thing, and I was at her house, and I got gassed because she had a washer and dryer with no ventilation, and I opened the door and fell over, and then the firemen showed up, and they were like, essentially, there is no gas leak. And when the gas man showed up, he went, oh, my God, there's 2 huge gas leaks that would take the house up, and the fireman went, like that, okay? Interesting. Because, you see, firemen can't smell the gas enough because they're so desensitized from all of the fires and the chemicals they have to drop. And you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Their lining of their nose is already like, you know, not as sensitive. Let's just be nice. So anyway, I had fallen over, and all I remember is all of these animals that I helped, that I saved in the street. Okay? These are not my dog or my kitty or my, Actually, in all the near deaths I had, I didn't see any of my animals. But in this other one, I saw all the animals that were other people's animals that I was saving or rushing to the hospital or bringing to the vet and praying over and all of these things. And then all the people that showed up were the people that I loved in my life, that I was brought to as an anchor to the room on the morning they were dying. And then I'd wake up knowing they had died, seeing these angels take them out of their body, 3 angels on each side taking them out of their body. And you could see their face all happy and relaxed and in joy as they were leaving their body. And I would wake up and know that they had died, and the phone would ring, and it was the hospital, and they'd say, Helen died, June. I'd be like, wow. And it'd make me even more crushed, Because then I knew I was remotely viewing the death of the people that I loved. Well, here I was, having them show up in my near death, right? Mm-hmm. So this is my 6th near death, and they showed up. And why this is important and why I'm going to the 6th near death is because they said, you can come now with us. It's fine for you to come. And I said, oh no, I have to save the starving people in America. Now, I wasn't aware of the issue of starving people in America at that time. It wasn't my focus. My focus was kids and giving stuffed bunnies and, you know what I mean? Helping people through issues, and I had a lot on my plate, So it wasn't about that. It was about helping people's emotions and things. But when that came up, I was like, all right, now what do I do? Now what am I supposed to do? How am I supposed to do that? Okay? But look at what happened with the food stamps just this month, right? They're cutting the food stamps. Well, starving people in America, here we go.
That's your new mission.
It's truly amazing. So that's just an extra added bonus mission for me.
So your 6th one was the most profound near-death experience then?
In that way of, I have to,
the information.
I said I have to. And I was like, wow, what is that? Before it was, I have to save the babies, the children. So I worked with children and saving children and working with autistic kids and having autistic kids talk to their parents, special needs kids talk to their parents. And it became this where I could see the guide with the special needs child. Mm-hmm. And the guide was also, we should say, a special needs adult that was with the child. Okay? So that's why that child has a special needs guide, see? Mm-hmm. So I had to communicate with that guide and the child and the parents' guides and the grandparents of the parents and the, you know what I mean? Pull up the phone book of everybody and bring them in. And let me tell you, I wasn't taught to go to the Akashic Records. I don't even work that way. Isn't that wild? I just get the birth name of the person, the name changes the nickname for the living person like you, and then 2 people. And if you didn't know, let's say you didn't know anybody that died, I would say, I want you to go look back in time to your ancestors and pick somebody. You can pick them from Abe Lincoln's time, and I'll pull up your stuff for now.
Wow, that's amazing.
That's what's fascinating. I mean, I have Amelia Earhart, Abe Lincoln's people, besides, we're going to talk about Michael Jackson tonight, who I have had everybody who is known coming in. It's just been, I had his painter paint my house, my kitchen. I was at the DMV, and I was told to make an appointment on Valentine's Day. I didn't have a date anyway. I can't get a date to save my life. I'm psychic and single. That's it. Thank you so much. Thanks for playing. Okay. Okay, it's over. I might as well be a nun.
That's a little joke.
I think that's the first time I've ever heard him use the little sound effects.
Oh, yeah. Our engineer's on point.
Oh my God. So
no, continuing the Michael Jackson, because I think you were telling me, or we haven't got into it, but yeah, I'm fascinated where this is going to go.
Well, this is really strange because I had a dream that I was kissing a guy, and I was in a club, and I saw his hair and everything, and I heard, he's not the one, but you need to kiss him in the dream. So anyway, so that night, I end up going to this place in Beverly Hills, and it was like a rock and roll place, that Sting played and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So anyway, I walked in there for a birthday party they were having for a guy, and I brought him his gift, and they said, sit upstairs, Miss June, And I sat up there, and I got introduced to the guy with the hair that I had described to my friend who was there with me, right, Courtney. So Courtney and I are sitting there, and this guy comes in. I'm, looking at her like, wow, I'm supposed to kiss this guy. That's how my dates go. I always know it's going to happen.
So in the dream, you saw his face.
Yeah, I saw his face, and I kissed him, and I woke up. So when he saw me, he sat down next to me. He came to me. I don't do anything. Get it? I don't go towards things like people would normally. Most people would think in the dream you have to go towards it. I sit back and I wait for it to come to me. It's a different way of manifesting. Okay? So he comes to me, and he sits down next to me, and he ends up, he says, I have to kiss you. I said, okay. Why am I going to say no? You know what I mean? I'm going to stop whatever process is going to happen. So he kisses me, and these guys come in and go, oh, my God, dude, I've never seen you just, kiss somebody in a booth and whatever. And I said, I'm supposed to. He goes, oh. Right? So ends up, this is Michael Jackson's keyboard guy on the new album he was working on before he died.
Oh, wow.
Pretty heavy duty, right?
That is heavy duty.
So anyway, the guy and I were talking, da-da-da-da. Then all of a sudden, I get a call that they want my press kit at the Neverland Ranch. So I put together this press kit. It's the same as I gave George Clooney when they sent me to Clooney Man. But anyway, so it's this big press kit. You know what I mean? It's this big thing in my life. And it looked like a script, and I shipped it off. So apparently it was there when he passed on, Wow. But I heard that he wanted counseling because he was afraid. So that was the,
Did you
sign there.
When you went to Neverland Ranch, I mean, there's stories that his presence is there. Did you see it, or did you feel an aura of Michael Jackson?
I never went to Neverland Ranch.
Oh, you didn't?
That's the funniest thing. He died, and my press kit made it, but I didn't. But he died, but everybody started to be sent to me. I ended up at, I was told, you have to go to the Bel Air Country Club, okay? So I went to the Bel Air Country Club, and I knew the chef. He was a client of mine, and we sat down, and he made dinner and these awesome desserts, and we would sit there and listen to the classical music, and I heard, go to the hotel portion. I said, can you tour me the hotel portion? He goes, yeah, Tom Cruise is here. He's like, Nicole Kidman's there. He's like, you know what I mean? He's like going through, you know what I mean? He's going through where everybody is, and I was like, wow, everybody's here. Amazing. And he brought me into where people check in to the hotel, and who walks in is the mom and dad, which blew my mind. Okay? So I was like, whoa. And then, of course, the sister from The Apprentice, she comes in, right? And I'm like, hi, And I thought, I don't know what to say, but you could feel this, whoo, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Energy. Chili bumps. And I was like, all right. So started there. Then I went to Calabasas. I heard, go to Starbucks. And I'm like, which one? There's one on every corner. Where am I going?
Yeah, there is.
Me, Like Regis would say to me, kid, what are you doing? And I go, I'm supposed to go here. He goes, well, how are you going to do that? I don't know. So anyway, he'd always give me help. So it was fun. The funny thing is, so I end up at this Starbucks on Agora Road in Calabasas. And I had lived on the street, Las Virgenes, Malibu Canyon over there. And anyway, I walked in, and there was Tito. I heard go to the bank. When I went to my bank, there was Jermaine. And it kept going. And then when I moved to Woodland Hills, I have this wall that's turning it looked like black. I thought I had mold for a second. It freaked me out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because mold's a 4-letter word. So anyway, it just was like, oh my God. So I'm in my kitchen. I'm like, there's this black stuff, and no one comes over to paint it. And so I'm like, I'm just going to hire a painter. And I see these painters across the way, and I walked over and I see this man, and I said, can you help me? I need a painter, and I need him to paint, in my kitchen and da-da-da-da-da-da. And he says, oh, like my nephew's here, blah, blah, blah. And he sends him to me, and the guy glows. He glowed gold energy. Blew my mind, right? Mm-hmm. And when you see that, there's something special going on. And I knew I did the right thing, and there was this timing to it, So anyway, so I get the guy, and he comes over, and I said to him, what do you want to do? He says, grief counseling. I said, excuse me? Right? You know what I mean? I said, that's what I do. He says, really? I said, yeah. I said, so whose house have you painted? Because you're here, he's looking at my kitchen, and he's like, he's going to start that day. He's like, I can start now if you want. This is not going to take me long. That's weird for a painter to just do that. So anyway, he's painting, and come to find out he was Ozzy Osbourne and Michael Jackson's painter from the Neverland Ranch. Mm. So I was like, okay. So he's like, whatever you need, whenever you move, I'll paint your house. I said, I would like that. That would be really nice. So I kept his number. Thought, very strange, And I thought, okay, I'm trailblazing. Something's going on. That's what I call it, trailblazing. Because you just have to follow it. You don't stop it from happening. You got to go with those urges. Oh, I got to go to 7-Eleven. Why do I have to go now? Oh, because I'm about to meet Dane Cook. You know what I mean? Who would ever think? You know what I'm saying? Who thought Dane Cook's office is 2 blocks from the 7-Eleven, and there he is? Do you get where I'm going?
Yeah.
So, but if I didn't show up, I wouldn't have been able to go, I'm the Bunny June. But anyway, so, you know what I mean? You got to show up when they give you those urges. I know a lot of women that go, oh, no, the guy should come to me, and they stay at home in their jammies. Well, you're not going to get anywhere. It's not going to be the pizza man. You know what I mean? Not, well, maybe once, but, but, you know what I mean? But the odds,
That's terrific.
The odds, he doesn't have the pepperoni, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The odds are he doesn't, you know what I mean? So anyway.
Oh, my God.
Crazy stuff.
Hey, June.
Crazy stuff.
June, real quick, count from 1 to 7. I'm interested in how you died. I mean, that's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
Yeah, like, what were the circumstances?
In October 9th, 1980, I was in a car crash that was like, it was smashed. The whole car was smashed. My handprints were in the dashboard of it. My old bus driver, you know the bus driver you get to know when you're in grade school?
Yeah.
Becomes your bus driver most of your life on that route. And so Dutch had a place that would tow cars in the area, and they would work on them. And he also was a bus driver. So anyway, he showed up at my mother's door the day after the car crash and said, June's handprints are in the dashboard, and she pushed the 2 front seats towards the front doors. So I came from the back of the middle of the car and went forward into the dash, went backwards and went up, and all I saw was a light at the ceiling of the car. And it was just before, like, a ravine You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And there was like a slalom, you know, the kind of like 90-degree things. You go, ba-boom, ba-boom, ba-boom. You know, like a race car driver would love it, which is what I was studying to be. I used to race little cars. I worked on classic cars and I raced, you know, little cars and stuff, you know. But I would channel the dead men with the classic cars, too. That's why I like classic cars. They were like people to me because they came with dead people. That's the problem when you buy a car. It comes with those dead people that owned it.
Wow. Okay. And the other ones?
Oh, so anyway, so that was one, and a guy came. By the way, a guy came to the door the next day because I blew up a refrigerator because I blow up appliances. So I blew up a refrigerator.
What?
The next door. Yeah, I do. So I learned that I blew things up right after the first near death. So it only got worse after that. So coffee makers are disposable to me. They should be $9.99 because, like, I mean, the espresso machines don't stand a chance with me. And they're very expensive. You just keep blowing them up. They don't have a good warranty program either.
What are you doing over there?
I gotta tell you. It's all about coffee. If you don't have coffee, you can't channel. That's the way it is with me. You know what I mean? You know?
If that's the case, then Michael and Lindsay have a lot of channeling they should be able to do with all the coffee these people drink.
So
yeah, espresso is like my middle name. So anyway, so I opened the refrigerator doors, and when I did, it blew up right after that near death. And when I saw the light, we were brought to the hospital, and some satanic guy was driving the car. He was into Satanism, and he was driving. He wrote us all letters later, saying, "I'm so sorry. I found the light of God. I saw it in the ceiling of the car." Well, none of us had talked to each other. There were 5 of us in the car to say we saw the light of God. And I saw somebody I didn't know, and I still can't even identify on the other side, a woman who pulled me through the ceiling of the car. And the guy's voice, though, I hear all the time. So I don't know, Michael, if you heard, a voice, saying, "Go back," or a voice going, "You know what to do," or "You have 5 minutes." Well, I have that guy. He's sort of like my backstage announcer.
He's your narrator.
He's a regular in my life. So anyway, but I don't know who he is. You see?
Yeah.
And we don't know a lot. But the next day, this is a really cool story, especially with Christmas and things coming up. But anyway, the next day, I had been making clothes, by the way, for MTV, and I was making really sexy clothes, really cool, like, talk about Vegas, I was making Tina Turner outfits and things like that. And anyway, I started making very, biblical robes next day, and my mother said, "Who jumped in my daughter's body?" Do you know what I mean? Because they weren't short and the breasts weren't, you know what I mean, exposed, and they weren't Miley Cyrus, you know what I mean?
Right. Miley Cyrus was there. That's a magic
Miley
name.
Cyrus wasn't wearing anything to begin with, so.
Listen, I heart Miley.
Well, I used to make what little pieces were on the cover of Playboy because I was a Playboy bunny. But I used to make the teeny little pieces that the girls used to wear, and I used to charge a lot of money for that. Isn't that crazy? So that was my business because I was a bunny and then came to L.A. and started just making all the clothes for everybody. Anyway, so, and Hef's, previous girlfriend, not the wife, but just before the wife, Carrie Lee, used to make her clothes and stuff. But anyway, and I would channel what to do and what they wanted to wear and all that kind of stuff. So that's sort of like fashion channel, but different.
Hey, that's a good show, the Fashion Channel.
The Fashion Channel.
The
it's a little
other meaning.
It's a different show. So anyway, the refrigerator blew. So I mean, it popped. There was a sound that I was like, "Whoa, hold on," and I was really young. I was sort of like, "Am I in trouble? Hold on," So I went to my mother and I said, "Refrigerator's dead." "What are you talking about?" Because we lived in the boondocks, and just to go get the food, you had to drive 7 or 9 miles to the grocery store, right? And so she said, call up somebody. Here's a phone book. Call him. So I call this guy, and he's like, well, I can't be there till the afternoon. And I called everybody else. They're like, no, we can't come today. We can come next week. There was that kind of thing. So I had to go with the guy that could come later in the afternoon. And she said, by then, all the food's dead, And I said, I don't know what to tell you, So my grandmother goes, I'll just pray. That was my grandmother. I'll just pray. Miracles would happen when she prayed. I don't know what was in her. Talk about, that's what I do for people now. I pray for them. Oh, my God, the things that they get. It's crazy stuff. I love it. It's fabulous.
Well, I'll be shooting you an email after the show.
I was just gonna say, there's a lot of things I want for Christmas.
I'd like a new car. I'm saving for a Mustang. I'm gonna buy it for myself next Christmas. Well, if I could get it this Christmas, that would be awesome.
Okay, everybody, quiet. June, you and I are single. I'm looking for a man.
Why did you do that, jerk?
I'll find one, and then you can have his brother. Okay, anyway.
What are you doing?
Hey, June.
Oh, no, this is late night.
I know. This is Comedy Hour on the Paranormal Beyond. Hey, June, we are coming up in less than 4 minutes. Okay. Let's wrap it up in the sense of like everything together. I know you're not afraid of death, obviously.
No.
Death's afraid of you now. So what's like the whole message that you took from everything, just everything together?
From everything is that, well, let's see, if we were going to talk about mediumship, being a medium, I have to say, because there's a ton of mediums out there, go find one that's been dead at least a few times.
I'll be sure and look for that on their resume.
You go, have you been dead? No? Okay, next. All right. And so anyway, because I have to tell you, I trained with a whole bunch of people, and it's a really scary thing. It messes up a lot of their lives because they don't know how to control it, and they're not opening and closing energy. You want to open and close energy so that a person's protected. And in this day and age, that's a really big deal. I've done world predictions for people, and I open the energy, and when I close it, I go, please keep them safe during this world prediction. And the predictions happen, and they feel like when Hurricane Sandy happened, I called everybody. I gave them a 2-week warning when we got closer to it. I noticed the trend of all the dreams I was having and all the clients I were having were all in the Jersey, tri-state area. Anyway, so they were all in that area. You know what I mean? So I called everybody. I took 2 weeks of my time. I canceled my appointments. I moved them all just so that I could call people to warn them to get this, get that, get this. And they didn't listen. And they called me when they got their first cell, when they were in their car and they were charging their cell phone. Mm-hmm. I was their first call to go, oh, my God, it happened. We have no food. We're starving. And I went, here we go, that starving thing again.
Yeah.
Right? And now in the Philippines, no water. Right? This chicken thing, Poultrygeist, let me tell you. I said we were going to have Poultrygeist in October.
Poultrygeist.
I said, this coming October, Poultrygeist. I told all my clients, do not eat chicken. I'm afraid to eat chicken. That's what they keep telling me in the dreams. Now, look at how many problems with the chicken, not only in cat food, people food, the eggs, the salmonella, the E. coli. I kept hearing E. coli, DeYoung, E. coli, don't touch chicken. And I'm like, E. coli and chicken?
June.
Well, that was yesterday's news. See?
June, we are walking into the last of the show. Tell everybody where they can contact you and your website address.
Okay. It's Juniverse.com, June-I-verse.com. And I also have a new pet website, and it's Pet Psychic Detective. And you can find the Pet Psychic Detective on Facebook or petpsychicdetective.com. I will be developing, and you're going to see that coming up. And June@Juniverse.com is my email. So you can write me there or find me on Facebook.
All right. Thank you for being on the program. We are out of time. Everybody join us back here Wednesday for another good episode of The Paranormal Beyond. See everybody out there and take care. Bye-bye.